Time, the chair recognizes Councilwoman Reynolds Brown, who will present a resolution congratulating the Pennsylvania chapter of the National Coalition of 100 Black Women. With Latifah Fields and those accompanying her, please join the Councilwoman at the podium. And joining the Councilwoman, we have Councilwoman Bass, Councilwoman Kiona Sanchez, Councilwoman Blackwell, Councilwoman Parker, and Councilwoman Gim.
Thank you, Mr. President. It's our great pleasure, the women of City Council, to embrace and celebrate the 31st anniversary of the Madam C.J. Walker. And my teacher had for 5 seconds a rhetorical question. Who was the first African-American female millionaire? Madam C.J. Walker. This is a resolution congratulating and honoring the Pennsylvania chapter of the National Coalition of 100 Black Women on the 31st anniversary of the Madam C.J. Walker Awards Luncheon, and for the organization's continued commitment to the educational, political, cultural, and economic empowerment of African American women throughout the city of Philadelphia. And whereas the Pennsylvania chapter of the National Coalition of 100 Black Women was founded in 1981 by our very own Sylvia Webster, who proposed to serve as a collective voice for progressive women of African descent committed to advocating for meaningful socio-political and cultural change. And
whereas the Pennsylvania chapter of the National Coalition of 100 Black Women in 1982 swore in 42 trailblazing leaders of varying professional affiliations, including the Honorable Marion Tasco, Sharice Lilly McGill, Audrey Johnson Thornton, the Honorable Augusta Clark, Joanne Bell, Velma Good, Leslie Kernodle, and Dr. Marshall Neal E. Young. And whereas the organization's leaders quickly sprung into action, implementing an aggressive campaign to address the educational, economic, political, and physical needs of women throughout the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, with a keen focus on urban cities and an array of programmatic and legislative remedies. And
whereas the organization boasts several signature programs that exhibits its unwavering mission, most notably the Educational Mentorship and Scholarship Awards Program, designed to support women and girls pursuing a post-secondary education, and the Madam C.J. Walker Awards Luncheon. And whereas named in honor of the nation's first woman to become a self-made millionaire, the Madam C.J. Walker Awards Luncheon celebrates local female entrepreneurs who successfully operate their own companies and demonstrate sound business practices. And
whereas the awards luncheon also provides the coalition's leaders with the opportunity to publicly acknowledge girls and women deeply invested in their academic, social, and political advancement as recipients of its annual scholarship contest. And
whereas the Madam C.J. Walker Awards Luncheon in its 30th year is a coalition staple which continues to be a shining example of the organization's commitment to female economic empowerment by generating over 200 attendees annually, providing a platform for networking and strengthening an unbreakable bond of female camaraderie. And whereas in addition to commemorating this auspicious luncheon, the Pennsylvania chapter of the National Coalition of 100 Black Women revel in several noteworthy accomplishments, including receiving the Susan G. Komen, quote, Women's Champion Award, end quote, the, quote, Champion of the Year Award, end quote, from the National Coalition of 100 Black Women, the rededication of the Iris V. Henderson Cancer Center at Mercy Hospital, in memoriam of a coalition sister and the leveraging of local resources alongside the national leadership to successfully influence the confirmation of the first African-American female U.S. Attorney General, Ms. Loretta Lynch, and
the women of council proudly stand on the shoulders of these trailblazing women in this organization, many who have helped us all get here, so I want to take a personal privilege on that. Whereas, in honor of Women's History Month and in the closing of Black History Month, the women of the Pennsylvania chapter of the National Coalition of 100 Black Women continue to be lauded, and deservingly so, as local leaders invested in the educational, economic, and political advancement of our local communities. Now, therefore, be it resolved that this council of the city of Philadelphia, that we hereby honor and recognize the Pennsylvania chapter of the National Coalition of 100 Black Women on its 31st anniversary of the Madam C.J. Walker Luncheon, and for the organization's commitment to empowering African American women throughout the city of Philadelphia. Further resolved that an engrossed copy of this resolution be presented to the leadership and the membership of the National Coalition of 100 Black Women, Pennsylvania chapter, as is evidence of the sincere sentiments of this legislative body. This effort, this resolution, was sponsored by all the women of council and supported by all members of council. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. And the chair recognizes Ms. Fields for remarks.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Latifah Fields, and I am the first Vice President of the National Coalition of 100 Black Women Incorporated, Pennsylvania chapter. I stand here along with my sisters and some of our brothers-to-be and brothers and men, enlightened men, as we like to call you. I give regards on behalf of our President, Linda Watson. In her absence, she extends her thank you for your continued support. She asked for your prayers during her recovery time at this moment, and she just asked that if you did not receive a ticket to this year's luncheon, don't be left without a seat at the table for next year. Again, thank you.
Councilwoman Bediz.